teaching you. The class that we have here is advanced reading and research. It's not really beginning Greek grammar or basic Greek or Hebrew grammar, that is. But I will go back and I'll refer to this from time to time. We'll even read the alphabet every now and then just to do it. And we'll do that tonight. All right? Alif, Beth, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Waw, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamet, Mem, Nam, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Tahi, Kof, Resh, Sin Shin Tao. Sin Shin Tao. Sin Shin Tao. All right. Now, the best, well, one of the best Hebrew lexicons is this one. It's Kohler and Baumgartner. It tells you tremendous, over 2,000 pages. The equivalent of this in Greek would be Liddell and Scott. It's, as you can see, it's 2 volumes from Aleph through Ayin and Pei through Tau. 2 volumes. And in your interlinear that I wrote that you have, it will be cross-referenced to Brown, Driver, and Briggs and Kohler and Baumgartner, sometimes Gesenius. Now, here is Brown, Driver, and Briggs here. It looks a little bit different today with the modern printing. With this one I wore out. I got to put it covered with leather one of these days because I wear them all out. Anyway, most of your text and everything is cross-referenced to Brown, Driver, and Briggs. Almost all of it. There is an interlinear Bible, a Hebrew and Greek and English interlinear. It is cross-referenced. Let me take it up here and show it to you. And it also has Strong's references to it. I don't fool around with Strong's at all. I just go to the Greek and Hebrew lexicons. Put this one up here. It's the Hebrew text is poor. Very poor Hebrew text in here. It's hard to tell some words that look alike from the others, as you can see. Very small print, kind of poor text, but it has the numbers in it for Strong's. If you was crippled enough to where you had to use Strong's. To me, that's not very strong. Strong's is weak. Okay. Anyway, this is the Greek New Testament and the Hebrew Old Testament. All right. Now, for deep study, when you for deep study, when we are studying Greek, we need to go back to the Septuagint and look back and forth. And of course, here is your Septuagint. This is the Apostolic Bible. It gives you the Greek Septuagint in the Old Testament, and it's cross-referenced to Strong's also, if you get this one. All right. I don't ever encourage anybody to look at Strong's. I encourage you to look at the lexicons. All right. But this one is cross-referenced to Strong's. And you can look and see what it says in Greek and compare it to the Hebrew. See if they were right when they translated, because you're going to know enough about Greek and Hebrew to know when they're wrong. And they were. Intentionally, most of the time. All right. Now, we have Davidson's analytical Hebrew lexicon. And I told you this is an analytical. You can look up every word in the Old Testament in, and it'll tell you what part of speech it is. Not only it'll tell you what it means, but it'll tell you what part of speech it is. Okay? All right, that's Davidson's. And then here's one I haven't brought to you and showed you yet. This is Kyle and Delish. How many of you have heard of Kyle and Delish? If you're really a student of the Bible, you need Kyle and Delish of the Old Testament. I have played with it, as you can see. You can tell that I read it. Okay. This is the Pentateuch. This is the first 5 books of Moses. This volume, there's 10 volumes of it. I'm going to tell you something. You better be a language student if you're going to really study Kyle and Delish. I asked the pastor one time. He was asking me a question. I said, "Do you have Kyle and Delish? You can look it up in there." And he looked at me and he said, "I can't read Kyle and Delish." Because it's written in Greek and in Hebrew and in Latin and German and Greek. It has some English in it, but it has many long dissertations that are going to be in Latin and German and Greek or in Hebrew. You'll see them in there, and you've got to go on sometimes a page before you come to a word of English. When I was taking language in the college, in the seminary, they said, we will, when you get out of here with your doctorates, or your doctorate, you will have enough education to learn. We're going to teach you how to learn. You'll have enough Bible languages underneath your belt and some of the other ones to play with, where you can go and you can read Kyle and Delish. And you can study. All right? And that's what I'm trying to get. That's why we're studying Hebrew and Greek. And I'm teaching you a little bit of English also. All right?
Thank you.
All right. Now, here's one more. The cultures of the Jews. You can understand what they were thinking when they wrote something. All right? You can understand what Shekinah is. It'll tell you what Shekinah is here in the whole history of the word Shekinah. It'll tell you the history of Lilith. All of the Hebrew legends are in this book. And it is pretty in-depth. Tells you all the different things, and it'll tell you in Hebrew and in Greek sometimes, in German. A lot of the modern Yiddish comes from German. Remember I told you that. A lot of the cultures was developed in Germany. All right, so this is the Cultures of the Jews, edited by David Biel. The Culture of the Jews. Now, you could not study Jewish history or culture unless you also studied the Book of Enoch. Now, the Book of Enoch is on discovertheword.com on the front of our main website. All right? You need to know this. The lesson we're going to get tonight, we have to go to Enoch a little bit. We're going to play with Enoch just a little bit. And some of the cultures of the Jews. All right. I taught pretty heavily on this in the 6th chapter of the book of Genesis, on the 6th chapter of Genesis. And we're in Genesis 13 and verse 14. Dakota? Do I have my case in here? Can you bring me some water, please? I think it's cool enough now for me to put my duds on where I look good on camera. Wait, come on, boy. Did you hear that shoulder? I felt it, I guarantee you. They just came from
like popping knuckles, huh?
Well,
Yeah, I'm trying to
it's
get
something
dressed.
else. Me too. Can't get my clothes on. Have to have Dakota or Maryland around. One or the other. All right. Genesis 13 and verse 14. We went through the Hebrew alphabet already. Has anybody turned it on? Get all these machines going at the same time. Either turn itself on or I didn't turn it on, one or the other. That one going. We went through the Hebrew alphabet. How many of you have memorized the Hebrew alphabet yet? Anybody? Yeah, you're going to learn it anyway. Whether you memorize it or not, you're going to learn it. The painless way. All right? The painless way. All right, let's get into 13 and verse 14. Genesis 13 and verse 14. On all of these pages, as you see all these books out here, Brown, Driver, and Briggs, and Kohler and Baumgartner, Davidson's, there's also Gesenius. He's got one. Remember? Yeah. 13 and verse 14. Right off the bat, we got an unpronounceable word, don't we? An unpronounceable word. La Dabar. We're going to call it the Word because that's what it's referred to as the Word in the New Testament. This is the name Jehovah. Okay? Amar, El, Avram. All right. Atare. Now that could now modern Hebrew means ahare. Okay, but it's achare because it's got a cut with a ha. All right. Achare. Hipparet. Lot. Remember old louse the lot the louse. Me immal. Sa. Na. Anika. Uriah. Mem. Ha. Magon. Asher. Atah. Shem. Sa. Ha. Na. Sa. Fa. Na. There's actually, that is a PH because that's a saw. Pay. Wa. Nigba. Wa. Gedima. Wayam not ma. Yeah, wayam ma. Now let's look at this. And Jehovah, he said. And he said. All right. He has said unto Abram, after separating himself. All right, look at that. After Atari, separating himself. Hapared. Nephel, infinitive construct. And look down there, it says page 825 on Brown, Driver, and Briggs, page 952 on Kohler and Bumgardner. And then Lot. Lot means what? Lot. What does Lot mean? Remember what his name means? Huh? Secret or hidden. All right. Lot, from him. Now God had to separate Abraham from Lot because Lot was an ungodly buzzard and he would do nothing but cause trouble. And we're going to find out that he was nothing but trouble all the rest of his life because he would not serve the Lord, and yet he was saved, and we wouldn't even know he was saved if the New Testament didn't tell us. We wouldn't even know. I tell you what, looking at Lot's life in the Old Testament, you wouldn't know that he even knew the Lord. But he knew the Lord. So what a mess. God gave us an example of him, I think, of what not to do.
Exactly.
From him, saw, rise, lift up now your eyes, inika, and then you re'eh, and look. There's the word roy comes from. Shepherd comes from that. Psalm 23 and John the 10th chapter. The Lord our shepherd. Jehovah our shepherd. Our roeh. Okay? That's the word to look, to watch after. Shem there, to the north and to the south and to the east. 13:15. 13:15. Ki et kal haaretz asher ata roeh lika itanana yuli zaraka ad olam. All right. Poimene is shepherd in the New Testament. That means to completely care for. In, I think it was the 20th chapter of the Gospel of John, the Lord told Peter to shepherd his sheep, to shepherd them. All right? Roe is the word. It means to watch over. And in the New Testament, the word means to completely watch over. Because et is what? Sign of the direct doctrine, page 84. What is the Greek equivalent to et? Ace. All right. Page 119 on et, on ace. And then call means all. Call means all. All haaretz, all the land, which atah you roe. Roe means what? Seeing. Masculine singular, kal participle. To you. I shall be giving and keep on giving. I shall give and keep on giving. First person construct singular, kal imperfect. And by the way, the suffix of this word is third person singular. All right? Feminine singular. And to your seed. Yule zaraka. Yule zaraka. And to your seed. That's zara. Okay? The seed comes of zara. And in the New Testament, the Greek equivalent of seed in the Old Testament is what? Medical term, sperma. Sperma. Okay? Sperma, your seed. To you and your seed. Eule zaraka, because odd, or as far as forever. Olam. In the New Testament is ace tonion, tonion. Ages upon ages upon ages. Okay? Ages upon ages upon ages. Ace tonion. All right, 13:16. Wisamti. Et. Zaraka. Zaraka. Now, what's the equivalent to that in Greek? Sperma. All right. Ka'afar. Haaretz. Asher. Yim. Yukal. Ish. Limonot. Et. Afar. Haaretz. Gam. Zaraka. Yim. Man. Mane. Now let's look at this just a little bit more. And I shall place. First person construct singular, cal, while, consecutive, perfect. And I shall place your seed like dust of the earth, which, if is able any man to number. Arithma is the Greek word, arithma. We get our word arithmetic from that. See there? Said your occupation is right there in the Bible. Arithma. Limnot, to number. Et. Actually, it should be an et. You've got to put a little bit of T on the in that et. Et. It's like a soft T. Afar, dust. Haaretz, the earth. Gam, also your seed. Zaraka may be arithmetic numbered. Arithmetic. Third person masculine singular, nifl, imperfect. All right. Now 13 verse 17. We're clicking right along here, but we're going to have to slow down pretty soon. We're going to start crawling, because there's some really deep stuff in some of this pretty soon. All right? Gum. Ithalek. Ba'aretz. Li arika. Yuli ra hiva. Ki lika etinina. All right. Rise up. Stand up. Rise up. You walk about. Rise up and walk about. All right? Rise up and walk about. Inland. Ba'aretz. Ba'aretz. See that word ba? Ba means in. Page 88 and 89 in Brown, Driver, and Briggs. Ba. Ba. All right? Baith. When you see baith on the front of it, it means in. Inland. All right? Inland. Leh. Leh, it means, when you see a lameth on the front of a word, it means 2 or 4. All right? Le arika, to its length. And then you is an. You le ra hiva, and to its breadth, or width, because. T is because. Because. Lika, to you. Etinana. I shall give it, and I shall keep on giving it to you. All right, 13:18. We're finished with the last, or the 13th chapter of the book of Genesis. We're just flying along like we have wings. Wayi kol. All right. Avram. Wayil. I'll get it in a minute. Wayavo. Wayavo. All right. See, that bait there does not have that little dot in the middle of it, so it's a V sound, isn't it? All right. Yeshev, Be'elon, Mamre, Asher, Behebron, Yivan, Shem, Mizbeah, Le, Davar. That's the word there, all right? After the law was given, the Jews would never speak the personal name of God again. All right? And then, Wayikol, all right, and he moved his tent. He pulled up tent stakes. That's what he meant. He pulled up tent stakes. But I'm going to tell you something. That's what you do when you move a tent. You pull up tent stakes and put down new ones when you put them, get over there where you're going. He pulled up tent stakes, Abraham, and he came in, all right, Wayabo, and he came in and settled. Yeshev, and settled, and kept on settling, by the live oaks of Mamre. By the live oaks of Mamre, which Hebron. Hebron means a ford or a company. All right? In Hebron, Behebron. All right? And he built according to a pattern. He built according to a pattern. This is the same root of this thing is Ben, which means what? Son. A man has a son. He built that son according to his pattern. Okay? Shem, there. Shem means name, it means monument, it means there. Okay? It means pillar sometimes. All right? And he built there a pillar, a monument. Also, that's what the word Shem or there means. It means pillar or it means monument. He built there a monument, an altar, Mizbeah, to Jehovah or to the Var, the Word. All right? This is the name of God. All right, 14 and verse 1. Now here we're going to have to slow down because we've got a lot of names in here, and these names mean something in Hebrew. I taught a class. If you go on to the front page of discovertheword.com and go over there to sermonaudio.com/DTW, right on the front page of that it'll say the 10 inspired names. The first 10 names of the patriarchs in the Old Testament were inspired of God, from Adam through Noah. And every one of them means something, and it tells about the whole plan of salvation in those 10 names. Cindy, have you ever heard me speak about that? The 10 names, the 10 inspired names. You can go there and you can download it in a PDF file, and you'll get it in Hebrew and Greek. Right off of there, okay? Wahi. Bemeh. Amraphel, Melech, Shinar, Maruk, Melech, Elasar, Kedri Omer, Melech, Elam, Wetidal, Melech, Goyim. All right. And became. Look at the word became there. There is the word that the Hebrew name of God is, the Jehovah right there. He who shall become. That's where it comes from. That's the root of it right there. And became in days, Biyameh, in days of Amraphel. Amraphel. It means a people that are powerful. People that are powerful. Melech, king. Melech, king of Shinar, of Arioch. All right? Shinar. Shinar is basically Babylonia. All right? And then we have Arioch, which means lion-like. Lion-like. And it says king, Elasar. Elasar, that's a Chaldean town. Kadarileomer. That means sheep band. It means something that ties the sheep together. When they go out and they harvest wheat, they tie it together with a band or a binder. They bind it, and that's what it means, a sheep band. And it says King Malek. and then Elam, which means youth. And by the way, you can look up every one of these in Brown, Driver, and Briggs, and sometimes I'll even give you Kohler and Baumgartner. See this one, Elam, that means youth. And that one you can look up on page 743. That's why I put the page numbers down there. And then it says, we Tidal. We is and on front of that. You can even look up with on page 253. And Tidal, which means splendor or renown. All right? And Melech, Goim. Some of these names I couldn't find any names, any roots for them or whatever they mean. Okay? Goim. That may mean water. The root of that may mean water. Okay? Asu. Milhama. Bera. Melech. Sidon. With. Gersha. Melech. Amora. Shanav. Belek. Adma. We. She. Shem. Abor. Shem Abor. Melech. Tisba Yehem. All right. You Melech. Bella. He. Sor. All right. And they made war. And they made war. They had made war. With Bera. Bera. All right, Bera means gift. Okay. King Melech of Sodom. Sodom means flammable. There was a lot of pitch and tar around there to burn. And it's going to get burned. Yeah, and Bersha. Bersha means thick or strong or fat boy. Okay? Bersha. All right. And Adma. 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 And Adma means a earth or a dam or a bulwark. All right. Remember what Mitzrayim means? Mitzrayim is Egyptos or Egypt. Mitzrayim means what? A land of canals and banks and bulwarks of red mud. And here we have the word Admah. We get Adam. Adam means red, doesn't it? All right. And it also, Dam means blood. Adamah means earth. Adam is man. Mankind. All right. So they're all related. We have Admah and Shemeber. Shemeber. All right? That means splendor or heroism. And then king, Zeboim. Zeboim means wild places. Wild places. And King Bela. Am I going too fast for you? King Bela, which means consumption. Consumption. It is Zor. Zor means little. All right? This is by the Dead Sea. We're getting some ancient places here. Basically, they're going to change real quick in a little while. All right? They're going to change. Call on 14:3. Elah. Havaru. El. Emek. Ha. Sidim. Hu. Yam. Ha. Milah. All right. All these. Call is all. Remember, all these, Elah, have been grouped together and united. Have been grouped together and united unto valley, Emek, unto valley of Hasidim, the Sidim. The extension is what it means, extension, the extended places. And this being sea salt. In other words, the Dead Sea. Now, it wasn't the Dead Sea at this time, I don't believe. I think it was a salt sea. I think it had a lot of salt in it, but I believe there were things living in this sea at this time. Later on, it's going to be a Dead Sea. If you go up to Mono Lake, up there above Bishop, California, you go up there, there is a Mono Lake up there, and it's got a lot of salt in it. A lot of sediments for thousands of years, salt run in there, and it is a very salty lake. But fish, a type of, shrimp live in there. The Indians from time immemorial used to come all the way from the east coast, believe it or not, and they trade all the way to the west coast. And Mono Lake was one of the trading places all the way from that tied the east coast and the west coast together. And they would go up there and they would seine those shrimp out of there, and they would trade for those shrimp, and they would trade for real good, high quality obsidian, which is found all around there, and then animal skins and whatever, because that was the kind of the gateway to the Yosemite, where there was a lot of animals, a lot of bear, a lot of deer, elk, all over the place. All right? There were a lot of grizzlies in California at one time. There aren't any grizzlies left of the California grizzlies at all. There was a lot of grizzlies in this valley. There was a tremendous amount of elk in this valley. This valley was a great big water plain, a gigantic water plain in the San Joaquin Valley. Tulare Lake was here, and it actually started right out before we live. I live at the end of Gosford and Bear Mountain Road. On the right of our place was Buena Vista. It went all the way to Taft. On the left of our place was Kern Lake. And at one time, if you go down Bear Mountain Boulevard, you look off to the right, you'll see some old shacks falling down. That was the Los Angeles Duck Club, where Roy Rogers and Clark Gable and many of the movie stars used to go there, because there was so much waterfowl in this valley. People have changed the environment. Have changed it. God changed this one. God changed this environment. Shittim, Esere, Shana, Avidu, Et, Kadar La Omer, Yushilok Loshu, Esere, Shana, Maradu. After 12 years, of what it says, 2 and 10 years, 2, Shittim, Esere, 10 years, Shana. When you see a woman by the name of Shana, her name means years. Okay? Avidu, they had served. They had served, and this morning I talked about Amos. There's his name in Hebrew. I talked about Amos this morning, and Amos' name is servant. His name means servant or slave or peon. All right? He is a low-class worker. All right? So they were in servants to this king for 12 years. All right? They were in service. That word Amos comes from that. All right? They served. They had served. Third person, corporal, plural, cal, perfect. All right? Abad, servant. Sign of the direct object. Shed Dar Lamar. All right? And his name means sheep band. And 3 and 10, and Ulashila, Ushiloshi, Esere, 10 year, Shana, and they rebelled. They had rebelled. After 13 years, they had rebelled. 14 and verse 5 now. Uberaba, Esere, Shana, Ba, Kadere Lo Amar. We have mi la kin. Asher, Ito, Wayak, Ku, Et, Rephaim, Be Asterot. Kar Nagim, Wiat, Hazuzim, Behem. All right. Turn the page over. Wiat, Ha'imim, Basaweh, Kir Yatayim. All right. Now let's go back and look at this one. We got to slow down a little bit. And in 4:10, in other words, 14, and you Barabah, all right, And in, see that word and there? That you, that's and. Be is in. And then we have Araba, the fourth. And then it says Asrei 10 Shana years. Ba, the year had come. Chadi Lamar. All right, sheaf band. And the kings. Kings, look at that word Melech is in there. See the M on the end of it, that's plural. We on the front of it is and ha there, we ham, all right. A double M, we ham Melekim, all right. And the kings, plural, which Asher Ito, Wayaku, they had and kept on striking. They kept on warring and kept on striking at Rephaim. All right? Rephaim means strong. In Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth, some of the lexicons say it means a wife. Karnaim. All right? Karnaim. And Suzim in Ham. All right? Suzim means prominent or strong giant. Suzim. All right? And in Ham. It could be Egypt, what it's talking about here. All right? Ham means what? In Hebrew, Ham means dark. Dark. The darker races of the Hamite races. Those are the ones that led out from the Fertile Crescent. And they, Cindy, how far have you got in your Hebrew studies? What lesson?
Chapter 2. It like takes you forever to get to
All right. What lesson?
I'm doing 7 tonight.
7. Lesson number 7. All right. If you study those, the first classes I did, and there was 41 classes, and she's in lesson number 40. There's a lot of stuff in there, isn't there? A lot of stuff. All right. 14 and verse 5 now. Wiet, Ha'imim, Bi Sarweh, Gir Yat Tamim. Okay? The last word. Now let's go and start out with the first part of the verse. And in fourth 10. Look at that word. And in fourth. See that? And in Arabe. We, or you, be, Arabe. And in fourth 10 year came in Chedlamar and the kings which with him, and they kept on smiting the Rephaim, the strong ones. Okay? And the Ashtaroth, and the Karmnaim, and the Suzim. Suzim means strong, or it means giant. This guy was a giant. This guy is a Nephilim. All right? In Ham, in Egypt. And the Emim. Now the word Emim means terrible. That's a race of giants, a race of Anakim. Okay? In plain of Kiriathim. Now this is what we have one of the only disciple of Jesus that's quoted in the New Testament and prophesied to be is who? Who's the only disciple of Jesus that was told of, spoken of in the Old Testament? Huh? That's right, Judas. Judas what? Judas Iscariot. That's the place right there, Cariot.
So,
Kariatavim. All right, Cariot.
where is this area in relation to Canaan? Like east, southeast?
It's toward Hebron from Jerusalem and down in that area. It comes down toward the Dead Sea from that area. Okay? It'll tell you. The word Kariath means Issachariot, man from Karioth. All right? It means city or hamlet. All right, now let me read to you what I wrote here. Ammon, the Amims, a race of gigantic stature near the Salt Sea. Anciently, the whole country was held by a race of giants, the Rephaim. Suzim, Emim, and Harim. Emim were related to the Anakim and generally called by the same name. The Moabites and their conquerors called them the Terrible, the Emim. All right? These are the giants. All right? The giants. Wiet. 6. Wiet. Hahari. Bi Haram. Seir, Od, El, Paran, Asher, Al, Ha, Midbar, in the wilderness. And the Horites, the mountain people, the mountain men, in the mountain, in their mountain. The Seir, Mount Seir. These are the mountain men. These are the hillbillies, so to speak, okay? The hillbillies. All right? As far as Oak, of Paran, which against the wilderness, Ha, Midbar, against the wilderness. Now here we have these giants out here in the wilderness, okay? Giants in the wilderness. Let's look and see who these people are. Now, the Bible talks about Nephilim. In the 6th chapter of Genesis, it names a lot. It names the Nephilim, okay? I brought this thing with me tonight. I'm going to go there just carefully, quickly. In the 6th chapter, it says that the Nephilim, that Noah was 500 years old, and he begat Noah, and he begat his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And 6 and verse 1 says, And came to pass, when began mankind to be many, upon the faces of the ground, or the earth, and daughters born unto them. And then 6 and 2 says, And saw the sons of God, which is probably angels, fallen angels. The word sons of God is used many times in Job 1 and 6, 2 Peter 2 and 5, Jude 14 talks about these, Numbers 2 and 5, 1 Peter 5, 8, Deuteronomy 9 and 2, and 128, 428, Numbers 13, 33. These are all cross references to Genesis 6 and 2 about the Nephilim. And it says the daughters of men that beautiful, Tavot, that beautiful they. And they took for themselves wives from all which they had picked out. And Jehovah said, Not shall strive or judge or rule my spirit in man or among mankind forever. In their running wild, is what it says. In their running wild, since he flesh, basar, flesh. What is the word in Greek for flesh? Sarx. Sarx. Another word for the body is soma. All right. Man is flesh. He is perishable. We hayu, and he shall be in his days 120 years. In other words, man is not going to live to be 120 years, but in 120 years, I am going to judge all flesh, and that's when the flood will come. All right? And then Jude 14, 2 Peter 2, 5, Numbers 13, 33, 13, 25, Deuteronomy 9 and 2, and 128, 428, and Job 1 and 6, and Matthew 24, 37 through 39, cross-reference to this one. And it says, the Nephilim became on the earth in days those, and also especially afterwards, when they were accustomed to, they made a habit of entering in the sons of men of God unto the daughters of men. In other words, the angels were cohabiting with women, and they were raising giants. Famous giants: Anak, Og, Rapha, Goliath. All right, Berob. All right, Benob, Rephaim. These were famous giants. And I mean, this page is covered up with all types of culture. Do you see this? Some of you have got some of this. I'm going to put this on camera so they can see it there. Of all the different ones, I can't read all this. I'd spend the whole class doing that. It's full of references to the giants. These are the Nephilim.
No, these are not the good angels, but the
The what?
These are the evil angels, not the good angels.
The evil angels, the good angels didn't marry. The evil angels did. All right? In heaven, there won't be any angels marrying in heaven. All right? They won't be married in heaven. Neither will we be marrying in heaven anymore. All right? These evil angels married. They were the fallen ones. All right? The giants are born. All right? The whole civilization becomes corrupt. And all of these, Jude 14 and 15 were direct quotes from the book of Enoch. Now I'm going to go in here in the book of Enoch. Now you can go in the book of Enoch. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in here, but I want to tell you a little bit about it. We're going to talk about vampires. That's where the vampires begin. Vampires, bloodsuckers, watchers. Okay? Chapter 1. All right. John 10, by the way, quotes the book of Enoch. Nearly every book in the New Testament quotes Enoch, the book of Enoch somewhere. Chapter 2 says, Behold, he comes with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon them and to destroy the wicked and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and ungodly have done and committed against him. That's in Jude 14 and 15. All right, this is Enoch. All right. In the book of Jude it says also, But you endure not patiently, nor fulfill the commandments of the Lord, but you transgress and culminate his greatness, and malignant are the words of your polluted mouths against his majesty. And if you look in the book of Jude, he's quoting Enoch directly. It said, He shall execute you with the ungodly. The elect shall possess light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. Remember what Jesus said? That the meek shall inherit the earth. That was a quote from the book of Enoch. Did you know that? But you unholy shall be accursed. Then shall wisdom be given to the elect, and all of whom shall live. Not again transgress in piety and pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat the transgression. In those days the daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored with them, saying to each other, Come, let us select for ourselves wives for the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Now, if you have fallen angels, you only have 1/3 of the fallen spirits and angels. How are you going to build up your forces? How do you build up your forces if you're a fallen angel and there's only 1/3 of you, and 2/3 on God's side and 1/3? How are you going to build up your forces? You're going to procreate if you can. All right. And then Enoch begins to name the angels that sinned. Their leader was Samael. And said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise. It says down here, and then they all swore together and all bound themselves by mutual execrations that their whole number was 200, who ascended upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Armon, and the mountain where they called Armon because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual bonds. The names of their chiefs was Samazah, and their leader was Urah, Barabiel, Akibiel, Tamael, Rabiel, Danel, Ozkiel, Sarakyal, Asael, Armors, Batral, Anan, Zivabi, Samasivel, Ertiel, Turel, Yamyael, Arazal. These were the prefects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were there. 200 angels came down and procreated with women. And all the women conceiving brought forth giants. All right? I'm not saying this book is totally inspired, but I'm going to tell you what the Jews believed it. The Jews believed, the rabbis all believed it. You go reading that book, The Culture of the Jews, and they're going to quote this book and they say this book's inspired. This is written by Enoch, the seventh man from Adam. All right? Enoch, by the way, means teacher. Whose stature was great. And it became impossible, the earth became impossible to feed them. And when they turned themselves against men, and they became cannibals, and they began to eat men and to drink their blood. And remember, on the other side of the flood over there, man was not allowed. If you killed an animal on the other side of the flood and ate that animal, or if you killed an animal just to be killing it, what happened to you? You had a death sentence. Your blood would be shed. You couldn't kill animals. You couldn't kill and eat animals. Mankind could not eat animals on that side of the flood. And they began to injure birds and beasts and reptiles and fishes, and to eat their flesh one after another, and to drink their blood. These are where the vampires came from. And the earth reproved the unrighteous. All right. And the earth reproved the unrighteous. And moreover, Azazel taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates, and fabrication of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, and the use of paint for beautifying the eyebrows, women. The Egyptians, remember the Egyptians, they painted their eyes and all of that to look good. And the use of every stones and very valuable and select kind and sorts of dyes, that the world became altered. And Amazarach taught all the sorcerers and dividers of roots. The sorcerers. You know what is a sorcerer? What's a sorcerer? Dakota, you know what a sorcerer is? It's a witch. Taught people to be witched. To work with evil spirits. These fallen spirits. Roots. They used to fortune tell. Remember when they used to take tea leaves and read tea leaves and so on and forth? These are fortune tellers. Armors taught the solution of sorcery. Sorcery. In sorcery, there's alchemy. You know what alchemy is?
It's a game.
Huh?
It's a video game.
Alchemy. Alchemists. They were people that used to try to change metal. The old story was to turn lead into gold. Remember? In the times of old. They say that some of these people, the reason why they got rich is they learned these secret arts from these fallen beings. Solution of sorcery. Barachiel taught the observers of stars. This is how you tell fortune from the stars. Achabiel taught signs. Tamiel taught astronomy. What we call astrology today. Azazel taught the motion of the moon, and men began to be destroyed and cried out, and their voice reached to heaven. All right. Talks about the sins of the angels. They found out the earth was destroyed. And it says here that God began to teach a man how that mankind might escape from this great flood that was going to come upon the earth. And some of the fallen angels they cast out into the wilderness, the desert. See, we were talking about the wilderness. Where was Jesus tempted? In the wilderness. For 40 days without anything to eat or drink for 40 days. Out in the wilderness was considered the abode of demons. When they would take the scapegoat and they would take him out into the wilderness and they would basically kill him, shove him off a cliff out there, that was the abode of demons. It says how we teach him how to escape. Again, the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into darkness, and opening the desert which is Dudael, and cast him in there. And throw upon him and hurl pointed stones, covering him with darkness. And there he shall remain forever, and cover his face that he may not see light. In the great day of judgment let him be cast into fire. Restore the earth which the angels have corrupted, and announce life to it, that I may revive it. All the sons of men shall not perish in consequence of every secret by the watchers. There are people that watch us every day. The watchers. Have destroyed which they have taught their offspring. And all the earth has been corrupted by the effects of the teaching of Azazel. To him, therefore, ascribe this whole crime. And Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, the Lord says, go to the vampires. To the vampires. The biters. Go to the vampires and to the reprobates and to the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, the offspring and the watchers from among men, and bring them forth and excite them one against another, and let them kill each other in mutual slaughter. That's talking. You know, what's this movie, Dakota? What's the one where the vampires were fighting each other? That's come out of here. They didn't have to invent it. Oh, you have to dig. All right? Anyway, there's a whole lot more of it in there. That's the... Yes.
Have you heard about something kind of change the stone to bread?
Do what now?
Some you just changed the water to wine.
Jesus changed water to wine.
Yeah,
And then the devil told him to turn the stones to bread.
Yeah, stone to bread.
Just
he told, but is there any something really stone become bread of fruits? Have you heard about that?
Jesus, there's all kinds of stories, you know, what they call the legends of things. Jesus didn't turn the stones into bread at that time because he would obey Satan. And he told Satan, "Get thee behind me, Satan." All right? And he said, "Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God and him only." And who was standing before Satan? The Lord thy God. We talked about this morning in the book of Amos. Adonai, Jehovah, Elohim, Ha Sabaoth. The whole book. We talked about that book. That is the key verse. That is the key saying in that whole verse. We have Adonai, King of Kings, Jehovah, our covenant God, Elohim, the God, the Lord of armies. That's what we're talking about tonight, is the armies of heaven and the armies of Satan. They are constantly in conflict. And here we go all the way back to the Dead Sea in Abraham's time, and we see the Nephilim were there. It said that they were just tremendous amount of them. They were depopulating the earth on the other side of the flood, and God destroyed all of them. That's why God had an ark built and everything, and they were all destroyed. And then it says, and afterward they came back, and then we have Og, and we have Goliath, and Goliath's brothers. All of these people. You can go back in the culture of the Jews and you'll find all the names of Goliath. If you look in the Hebrew lexicons, you'll even find some of the names of Goliath's brothers and who they were. They really existed, and they were really big people. Big. All right? Let's go on now. You having fun? We touched into the darkness of some of these things tonight. I don't know how much of the book of Enoch is inspired. We know that some of it is, because the Bible quotes a lot of it. You'd be surprised if you read the book of Enoch, then you go start reading the New Testament, and you're going to find out that it's quoted in just about every book of the New Testament. All right. 14 and verse 7 now. Wayash Shavu Shavah. Did we cover this one? No. Wayabu El N Mishpat He Kadesh Wayaku Et Kal Sidah Ha Amel Ki Wigal Et Ha Emori Ha Yashib Chashol Tamar. And they turned and came unto En. En means eyes. And they turned, and they kept on turning, and they kept on coming. All right? Third person masculine plural, Cal, while consecutive and perfect, and third person masculine plural, Cal, while consecutive and perfect. And they kept on turning, and they kept on coming unto En, which means eye. Mishpat. Mishpat means judgment. And she is Kadesh. Kadesh. Look at that. Kadesh. All right? Kadesh. Kadesh is Sodomites. One who is wholly devoted to prostitution in honor of idols between Idumea and Egypt. Kadesh means holy. It also means devoted. Devoted to idols. Okay? Male prostitutes, devoted male prostitutes, and kept on striking all the field of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites. Those settled, that pitched their tent in Hazazon, Tamar. Hazazon, Tamar. Tamar means palm tree. Amalekites. The Amalekites, the Amorites, these are all have a lot of Nephilim blood in them. That's why we went back and studied the 6th chapter of Genesis a little bit. I didn't go back and teach it all over again. If you want to go on, just go to sermonaudio.com/DDW and go over there and put in Genesis or Hebrew study in there, and you can go down and you'll find out where the 6th chapter of Genesis. You can go listen to it. I spent about 2 or 3 hours teaching those verses in the 6th chapter of Genesis. We really covered tremendously. Were you here there, David, when I did that? A little bit.
Verse cousin?
The 6th chapter of Genesis. You were in my Hebrew class before. All right. Yisu.
Body.
All right. Melech, Sidon, Umelech, Amorah, Umelech, Admah, Umelech, Se, Goyim, Umelech, Bela. All right. He, Zoar, Wayarku, Itam, Melhamah, Be'emek. All right. Hasidim. Hasidim. All right. And they kept on going out. King of Sodom. Sodom means what? Flammable. And king of Gomorrah. Gomorrah means a lot of water, or also it can mean baptized, submerged. Okay? And it's Gomorrah. In Hebrew, it's Amorah, and in Greek, it is Gomorrah. So we get the word Sodom and Gomorrah from the Septuagint, not from the Hebrew Bible. There are many ways you can tell what somebody's quoting from. It's not Amorah, it is Gomorrah in Greek. All right? And King Umelech, and King Admah, and Admah means what? Earth fortress. Okay? King Zeboim, all right? And King Bela, et Zoor, all right? And they ordered, and kept on ordering them war in valley of Siddim. All right. 14 and verse 9. 14 and verse 9. Yes. Hatak. Kadel Elor. All right. Ched Lamor. Melech. Elam. Witadal. Melech. Goyim. We Amraphael. Melech. Shinar. We Ariok. Melech. Elah Asar. Arba'ah. Melakim. Et. Ha-ha-mishah. All right. Sign of the direct object. Shed Lamar. Shed Lamar means ready to attack. Davidson says. Warlike, agitated, ready to fight. Shed Lamar. That's what his name means. Okay. Elam. All right. And Tadal, king of Goim. Goim, I said it means much water, or a nation of Gentiles. Okay. And Amraphael, and Amraphael means what? People strong, powerful, big. And King Shinar. And Arioch of Arioch, king. Elasar, 4 kings. Arabe, 4 Melachim kings against 5. 4 kings against 5. 4 against 5. Not too unusual numbers, but we have to remember these kings have armies. So there's 4 armies against 5. Okay? So that's a little bit outnumbered, but it's not like 2 against 5. But we are outnumbered there. Wet and neck. Hasidim. Betrot. Beret. Hemor. Yanusu. Melech. Sidon. We Amara. Yitkalu. Shama. We Hanish Sharim. Haru. Nasu. All right. And valley of the Siddim, springs. Beersheba. Beersheba means springs, running water. This means springs. This is a flowing well. All right? Springs. Beterot, Beret. Beterot, Beret. Springs, like water is running. At our place out there one time, have you ever heard of Zorro, the movie Zorro? The real Zorro character was Joaquin Marietta. He was a guy that was abused in California. When California became a state of the Union, they pretty much 86'd all the Mexican nationals that were here, and they took all their gold claims away from them, the farms and everything else, and abused them terribly. And they didn't have any right in court against them. The Indians, if you were considered 1/4 Indian in the state of California, you were considered a non-person, period. If you were an eighth or whatever. The Spanish and the Mexicans, they figured, were at least 1/4 Indian, so they were a non-person. They couldn't own any property or anything. The Chinese couldn't own any gold mines. They could only go out and pan gold because they considered them were non-people. But Joaquin Marietta, they took his gold claims away from him up in Northern California. They hung his brother. They raped his wife in front of him and then horsewhipped him. He told them, "You better kill me, or I'll come back and kill every one of you." Well, he lived, and he went back, and he roped them by the neck and drug every one of them to death. And then he went out, and he started taking horses. He would take horses out of this valley and take them all the way down to Sonora, Mexico, and sell them down there. They were selling them back to the Mexican armies and selling them to the American troops down in Mexico. And during the Civil War later on, they moved a lot of horses. This was in the 1850s now. Out there in our house where we live, out in the back was a running spring. And remember that Buena Vista Lake was over there, and Kern Lake was over here. There was a lot of lakes, but it was salt, marshy lakes. And the water was no good to drink. But there were very few be'ers, very few springs of fresh running water that was good. And one of them was right out there by our place. And Joaquin Marietta would come there, and he would let his horses rest. And there was a lot of grass out there, and they would eat. He would drive them, about 300 head, down. They would go from here, they would go down to San Bernardino by Cucamonga, and they would rest them down there again, and they would take them all the way to the north from there. But this whole valley was full of Mustangs. Well, he finally got to stealing a lot of horses. And the Zorro movies are basically about Joaquin Marietta. And that spring where he would water his horse was right out. That be'er was right out there in our backyard, on our property. Be'er, the springs, running water, fresh springs, running water. This is what you call living water. In the Bible, when they had when they would wash a sacrifice, it had to be washed in living water, a running spring. It could not be from a cistern, from a dead well, dead water. It had to be living water, running water, because that was considered good water. And of tar, all right. Hemar of tar. Nasu. And he fled and escaped king of Sodom. This bitumen and this tar. Remember what that the ark of Noah, they covered the ark, the boat, the big box with tar, didn't they? To insulate it and seal it. All right? We Amara and Gomorrah. All right? Gomorrah means what?
Water.
Submerged, baptized, underwater. All right? And they fell there, Shema, and ones remaining left to the mountain they fled. To the mountains, Heharah, to the mountains they fled. They kept on fleeing and they had escaped. All right. We'll quit here pretty soon. You ready to quit? In a minute? No? Not yet. I got to stay within the limits of this thing. I got a few more minutes left. All right, we'll do another verse or two. Has this been pretty exciting tonight, all this? There's a lot of information in here. You just look over so many times. Wayiku, Et, Kal, Rikas. All right, Sidon, We Amara, We Et, Kal, Akilal, Wayeleku. And they took et all movable property. That's tents, that's cattle, that's anything that you can move and carry. You know, these people were what we call full-time RVers all the time, okay? This is all the RV material, the movable property. Of Sodom, flammable, and Gomorrah, submerged or well-watered or underwater. And all of the goods, the provisions. And they walked on. They kept on walking on. Wayiku, verse 12, Et, Lot, Wiet, Rakusha, Ben, Ahi, Avram, Wayiliku, Wihu, Yasser, Besadon. And kept on taking Lot. They kept a hold of him. He was arrested. Lot was arrested and his portable property. Everything that Lot had and all his portable property is son and brother of Abraham. Son of brother of Abraham. And they left and kept on going. And he dwelling in Sodom. All right. So they got Lot. They've arrested Lot, the ungodly judge. The ungodly lawyer has been arrested now. He's carried off. And God is going to rescue all of these people. All of these people in the place that He's going to send to hell. They all know who God is. These people all know who Jehovah is, because Jehovah sends Abraham to rescue Lot and all the people and get them back into the land. And how did they thank God? By becoming more ungodly. All right. Why Yahu? Hipalet. Why Yageh? The Abram. Hybrid. Wihu. Sokin. The Alon. Mamre. Ha'amari. Ahi. Eshko. Wahahi. Aner. Wihem. Bi'ale. Beret. Abram. All right. And kept on coming the fugitive. All right, the escaped one. And he made known to Abraham, Le Avram, all right, to Abraham. Remember what I told you about let, lamet in the front of a word? That means two or four. The Hebrew, ha-a-ha-adri. Hebrew means what? Those on the other side of the river. Or those from beyond the river. That's what Hebrew means. Ha-habre, wihu, and he dwelling at the live oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother Aner. All right? And they, possessors. They were possessors of the covenant of Abraham. The diatheke, covenant, barith, and diatheke. Diatheke, both of them means a dividing. Back in those days when they made a covenant, they would kill animals. They would put one half of the animal on one sheet, one paper, one sheet that was laid down, one blanket was laid down. They cut the animal to and put it on the other side. They would walk between, hand each other their sandals, and shake hands, basically, when they handed each other their sandals. And a really weird thing. You're going to see this a little bit later on. It's really weird. A weird custom. Many times, they would swear by their posterity. A man would lay his hands upon the female or the male organ of the other man and swear by it. Now that today is pretty weird. But that's what Abraham had his servant do. Put his hands on basically his male organ and swear by it, because this is where his posterity came from. His seed, so to speak. And they took that literally. All right, so they would do that. That's kind of weird, but that's what they would do. Okay? When it said they put their hand under the thigh, that's what it's talking about. Okay? So they would swear by them and their posterity, and they would swear that they were always going to keep their covenant. Even with their children, they would keep their covenant. And that's the way they would swear. Now, I know you're not going to hear that anyplace else. But that came from the customs of the Hebrews, all right? All right. Well, we're just about out of time. We're at the end of the time. My recorder has run out. We will start next week at 14 and verse 4. 14 and verse 4. 14, verse 14.
14 and 15?
14. 14, 14. 14 and verse 14. What is the date? 7/10?
Yeah, okay.
11. All right. We'll start right there next week. Well, did you learn something tonight? Some pretty exciting things in there, and astounding things sometimes. When you study Hebrew, if you don't study the customs and the culture and the extra biblical writing, sometimes you're going to miss the boat people. As simple as that. You're not going to get the whole story. That's why I brought you some of this other story here. That's who they're fighting now. These great big people that Abraham was fighting, they're giants. They're Nephilim. And they've gone after them. And they're horrible, terrible people. Killers. We talked about that kind of people this morning from the book of Amos also. Well, go out and do something eternal this week. Nicole, did you get anything out of this? Yeah? All right. I want you to go out and see if you can teach others. All right. And you're Abram.
Yeah.
Abram. All right. Good to have you back here this week. And Cindy, are you coming along in this Hebrew? You're learning a little of it?
Yeah.
You're learning a lot of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
Been exposed. How about David? Jill?
Oh,
All right.
hello.
Nina?
Hello.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in there. You get
Right.
exposed to it all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when you get to about another 30 or 40 classes, you're going to look back and you say, what in the world? Boy, there's a lot of stuff in that book of Genesis. The book of Genesis means what? The book of beginning. Well, I'm going to turn you loose, go out in the world. Cindy, would you dismiss us in prayer, please?
Sure. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another great opportunity to learn your word, your instructions to us through your language and your words. And Lord, I pray that you would be with Jim, that you would be able to give him the knowledge that he needs to let us learn the things that you want us to see, and make it possible for us to have a very good understanding and be able to share this with other people. And I ask that you would be with all of us this week and help us to come back next week. And I just pray that you would bless all of us that pass this year.
Thank you for your prayers. This one ran out. The video one never runs out. It takes 2 hours to run out. I mean, it does run out. It can run out, and some of my